PointyStarVio here, and we're on with this deck is underrated. This week's deck is, as hopefully you guessed, Monarchs. So without further ado, let's see some of the duels. Start off, we were facing a Fire King deck. This is a quote-unquote pure Monarch build, as I'm going to call it. It's where I'm just using sort of both a trap and a Ghost Trick engine in it, but I did make several other versions of the deck, which I'll show you at the end of the video. Starting off, I set both Reckless, and I had that, so I'm pretty well off. I decided to sit on the Reckless for a while because I don't really need to use it, and this duel was actually very interesting because there's a lot of things I was kind of worried of. Right now I decided to take my plus a billion, set, activate, summon, get my Ryza, and then he ends up negating stuff because he has Compulse. And if you do not have your Monarch on the field, the continuous spell does not resolve for some reason, so yeah. Summons Thunder King, which means I won't be getting my search next turn, on which I'll summon that, I'll tribute, destroy his monster finally, and I do declare an attack. Their turn. He drew MST. MST's my face down, it was just another one of his. Onslaught pulls out that. And the duel just gets really complicated here because I'm afraid of fighting this monster, because during this phase it comes back. I did not want to have to deal with it because I knew as soon as it got destroyed it'd be screwed, so he attacked, I used Jack Frost to flip it down, and then it is my turn. I did get lucky because he didn't get rid of that, and I was able to normal summon the Ryza and put that back on top of his deck, which was really nice. Attack for 24, he Dimensional Prisons, which means I have nothing again. He draws, obviously, his Garunics, so he's got 3 Garunics in his hand. On this turn, I made a small thing, and I should have set a monster, but I didn't. Because I didn't, he was able to sit there for an extra turn before I finally did decide to set a monster. His turn, he summoned the card, gets the new monsters, ends up having to discard Garunics, which is amazing because now he's got it in the graveyard. But I did get lucky with the Caius and the searching, do some more damage. On his turn, he does make small comeback, which is kind of terrifying. But yeah, pulls that out. Gets to do some damage. Sets 2. My turn. Can't really do anything. He gets that card back. I believe, yeah, I did set 1 card and then I ended. And on his turn, he, just attacks. This duel was pretty interesting duel. And I did draw my high level monsters, which was kind of a small issue I was having at first. I never seemed to draw my high level monsters. I'll show you the list afterwards in which my final edits of this and another build of the deck. So, yeah. As you can see, I am running a lot of the Mega Monarchs right now. Personally, I like them because they all have really nice effects and you can get a lot of their effects off. So, yeah. I'm just observing he does some damage, which is kind of terrifying. When he declares that third attack, I use the Jack Frost. He switches it for a new monster. And because of ruling, Jack Frost gets to stay in my hand. He redeclares an attack and I use Jack Frost like I was going to. He sets the Torrential. My turn. He used that. Everything dies. I trade in to get more cards, and he actually scooped because he was worried because all he had was this in his hand. And he did have, quote-unquote, infinite loop of the Garunic stuff, but I did have the Trap Monarchs, in which he was just kind of scared of, so he just said GG and end. Yeah, we'll move on to the next duel. Was against Lightsworn. This duel we didn't do much. I just wanted to show that we could survive against the Lightsworn and show you the problem with running Lightsworn the way this guy did. As you can see, I opened up with the Jack Frost as my only low-level monster, but that's perfectly fine because if he does attack, then I can just set his monster and so summon this. I drew into the Lantern, which was wonderful. Let him go. Summons Lumina. Lumina for Lumina. Lumina discards, special summons him, and then he just does a lot of milling. You can probably see already where this is going. I was hoping he'd attack with the other monster, but he didn't, and so I was unable to use my Frost or Lantern. Did you see that mill? He just went through half of his deck in 1 turn. Yeah, I discard my Monarch. Let him go. Summon Star Eater. Solar Recharge. Solar Recharge. At this point in time, I have no idea what he's doing besides making his deck go smaller. He's got himself 12 cards left in his deck, and 11 cards now. I Battle Fader that. He summons the Michael, banishes my card, and then he proceeds to lose right now. I wanted to show you just because we were able to survive this duel, and also show you what's wrong with Lightsworn. Moving on to Plant Princesses. This duel was a little bit more serious. It was pretty interesting. He was using Gigaplant Engine with a Plant Princess sort of deck. I personally do not like the Gigaplant, but he was liking it, so it's fine with me. Get the Battle Fader, and he summons that. In this duel, at first, I had trouble getting the Monarch, and actually, I do make a purpose misplay just because I thought that I was going to lose, and it just really kind of, the duel turned around. It was really weird. Right here, I activate all three just to show him that I have nothing because I thought I was going to lose the next turn. But for some strange reason, things continue to move on, and I end up actually doing really well in this duel, so, you know, it was really, really nice. I'm moving on with the video. He got the Miracle Fertilizer. Miracle Fertilizer brought back that. He ends up attacking into my monster. I can't really do much of anything about it. And, yeah, moving on. He keeps summoning cards. He's able to make Black Rose and stuff, in which he actually does make the Black Rose and blow up everything. He tries to do that, but he does not remember that it banishes his card when he does so, and I lose my 3 monster, the Monarchs. But this is what's really weird, is I actually make a comeback from me purposefully activating all 3 of those cards just for the heck of it. I use the Jack Frost, which is good because then it stops his attack. My turn, Caius banishes the card. Attack. His turn, summons, bounces, summons, suicides. My turn. Draw Caius. His turn. Like, this duel is very, very strangely back and forth. I take the damage. I've barely taken any damage this duel. I pass. I mean, there's nothing really I can do because the Jack Frost is reactive. Summons Princess Camilla. Attack. I can use the Jack Frost now. My turn, I summon and just do huge wonderfulness. Banish. I attack. I believe I set the card, and then I end. Their turn, he just kind of special summons that to tribute for Gigaplant, but does not suicide. My turn, tribute, put Gigaplant on top of his deck, set first Monarch, and that was when he scooped because he couldn't really do anything. On my turn, I summon the first Monarch, summoned Ryza, and then he lost. Moving on, this one's versus Scraps. I did dual Scraps twice. Both of them were Pendulum Scraps. And I was just trying to show that this deck's not that good, because even my Monarch deck beat it. Personally, I think the Monarchs are great. I think they're really fun. I've been trying to work out builds, and this is one of the builds that I found really consistent. I actually built 3 in total. The Trap Heavy, the Ghost Trick Engine, and then just this. The mixture of the two. The mixture of the two is my favorite, but I will show you just the Ghost Trick Engine before the video is over. Luckily, I was able to burn through all of my opponent's cards in like 2 turns. So, I am just in a huge winning position, and all I'm using is thinking Monarch, Ryza and stuff to fight down. I summoned that, but I accidentally misclicked and ended up summoning that. So, it didn't really matter that much, I guess. The Mega Monarch does huge damage. His turn, he scooped because he couldn't do anything. He kept drawing the same 2 cards, which did not help him. Moving on, we've got this Extinction. They were using strange deck. The reason why I showed this duel was the fact that I can survive off of Extinction. The way that I was playing this deck, it's very, very, very reactive. So I had to sit there and wait for a while. He summoned the Valkyr Knight, and then he has the Goblind Berg in his hand and the Queen's Knight. So there's not really that big of threats going down. But it's the fact that his extra deck was really well set up. I mean, I had like 2 Sharks and Extinction. But it was just really, really weird. My turn, I keep drawing cards. There's nothing else to do. I use Double Reckless. I don't really know what I was looking for, to be honest. Just Trap Monster. I end up discarding my Ryzas, and they go. He summons Extinction. Extinction blows up everything. I could not figure out why he did that, except for that I had 1 back row card. The major point I was trying to make was the fact that I could survive against the Extinction. He attacks, I use Jack Frost, his monster goes down, I summon this. And then, my turn, I just summoned the Caius, banishes that, and then attacked over that. This duel is a very straightforward duel. It was pretty much he kept trying to activate cards, and I just kept doing silly things using the Monarchs. Set a card, attack directly. His turn, he activates swords, I believe. No, he passed. He activates swords on the next turn. I summoned I summoned Mobius because Mobius does not have issues. And I summoned this. It's because Photon says he couldn't use effects, and I was really scared of what he could do. He swords. My turn, summon Caius, blow that up for game. Okay, up next is the Synchro-based deck. It was nothing really all that amazing, because it was just like a basic like starter deck, Synchro deck. But I figured I'd show you it anyways, just because the Monarchs do have some consistency I'd like to show. Even if it is just in small little portions such as this. This duel was not the most eventful. He just kept adding little silly cards like that and kept like just not attacking and worrying me with the different fears. Used the Caius to banish that and attack. I go, what the heck? It was a magical cylinder, big deal. His turn, he draws, he summons, he makes Shark but can't get rid of my guy. He used Junk Guard and I turned the thing into defense. It really kind of was hurting. I was able to continually use my little monsters to keep me from going. I was able to use Unearthing, summon Ryza, bounce that, search, but then my monster gets turned to defense, which was annoying, but it's fine. They went, he summoned, he was able to attack over my card. I got my guard so I can summon again. I summoned the Caius to banish his Synchro, but then he still turns it to defense, and I'm forced to end my turn after setting the Reckless. Their turn, they summon a Road Warrior after Pot of Duality. He was going to Synchro and XYZ, but the Pot of Duality stopped him. I honestly don't think that was the brightest idea. He should have just summoned and went Synchro, but it's fine. I go Mobius, get rid of his one back row, get a search card, and then I attack over his card. It was just simple, straightforward from here. He uses Junk Synchron, gets Lightning Warrior, shrinks my monster, and kills it, but it doesn't really matter because I'm able to do some really nice plays, such as use traps and such to just bide some time. He attacks again, I take some damage. I probably would have been a really bad situation if he had some Tomb Warrior. I would have had to waste some of my cards. But I got lucky that he didn't. Was able to tribute that off, search a card, attack, ending the duel fairly shortly after. Personally, I did like using the extra deck. Some people were liking some of those Japanese cards that were coming out. And personally, I don't like them. I just prefer not using it. These cards are so much better, or being able to use the extra deck is so much better. You end up in situations where you have extra or multiple Monarchs on the field. Just being able to go and choose your extra deck's really, really good. He scoops it up right here, yeah. So we're moving on to our last duel, which was a newer build that I was using versus Pendulum Scraps, and this shows why they have issues. I did some really, really, really nice things in this duel, and I won in like the coolest way possible. Oh man, he just setting up. I didn't really care. Trade in, use that, draw two, discard that. I was hoping to get another Monarch. I personally like the trade in. I'll explain all the cards in a little bit. He attacks, he realizes I was playing Monarch, so he dropped Max C on the Battle Fader because he wanted to draw once or twice. Caius banishes the field spell, attacks over the monster, sets trap, go. Their turn. Gets their scrap Chimera, and just starts doing fun little things. Gets his Chronomancy out, and it's just Astromancy, sorry. And I have the two Monarchs out. Attack, attack, main phase 2, XYZ summon, Strike Bouncer, And what's really cool is you can use Stinking Caius on the Astromancy, and it counts as banishing a dark monster, which is really awesome. He ends his turn, and on my turn I tribute for the Caius, banish the monster, and then win. Yeah, we'll move on to the deck list right now. Right, so I'll try and be quick about this deck list. This is the actual deck that I used for the majority of the videos. We were using for Mega Monarchs, Grand Mark at 1, 2 Mobius, and 2 Ryza. Those are the majority of the Mega Monarchs. I mean, I did try some of the other ones, like the Fire one and such, but I just wasn't really liking them as much. Moving on, we've got 2 Mobius, which I kind of would say go up to 3, just because you like him so much. 3 Caius, always run him at 3, just like the 3 Ryza, which are just really, really nice. And the 1 Zaborg, just because you want an extra monster. He's level 5, which makes it so your XYZing is not as optimal as you can with all these. But still, the extra destroy monster is nice. Also, the reason why this guy's so good is the fact that his effect's not mandatory, while all the rest say just target 1 card, or target, it's just this guy says you can. So it really helps since you don't have to use his effect. For Ghost Rooks, I was running 3 Frost and 3 Lantern, along with 3 Battle Fader just to help with the consistency. I was trying to use the traps instead of the Treeborn Frogs so I could do this, and it worked really well with this. Moving on, we had 2 trade-in because running 5 level 8 monsters is not the best, as well as we were running 3 Unearthings. I would not run 3. I mean, I ran it at 3 because it was working fine, but I'd probably take it down to 2. Along with, I'm running 3 Reckless Greed. Reckless Greed is nice because you want to get these guys into your hand, and for some reason you never draw the high-level monsters, and you're running so many of them. So, Reckless Greed gets you to those. Also, we've got 3 Tiki Curse, 3 First Monarch, and 3 Metal Reflect Slime. I actually was using the Embodiment card instead of this, but I switched it to this just so that I could have more opportunities to get the effect of Mega BS out. Extra deck, we were running 1 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon, 1 Hierarchic Sun Dragon, 1 Divine Dragon, 1 of the Sylvan High Protector Alcai, 1 Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, and 1 Constellar Ptolemy, 1 Photon Strike, and 1 of this number 72 Line Master Chariot. I thought it was kind of cool because it says, then target or detach 2 materials, target a spell and monster, and destroy both targets, and then all battle damage is halved. But it was cool because it destroyed a spell and a monster, as well as Gauntlet Shooter, which destroys 2 monsters really easily. Other cards we were running was 1 Exector Exabeetle, and then we were running all these level 1s just because we added the level 1s. We didn't really ever go into any of these. I mean, I went into Slacker once, and I went into Dual Hand once as well. Other cards you can run is Double Summon if you wanted to try 2. You can use other cards like more of these. You can use Dark Arm because you can search it, and you're running a lot of Ghost Tricks and the Caius with this. You use the Thestios or Thestios the Mega Monarch, as well as more Grand Mark, but I personally was not liking them that much. I was also thinking about using Soul Exchange in the deck, but I just never really got around to actually using it. Moving on to the secondary build. I didn't change that much. As you can see, there's not much that changed, but I did start running 3 Gigant Sheet and 3 Mary instead of those traps, and only kept these 4 trap monsters, as well as taking out 1 of the Unearthings. And this build's been working a lot better for me just because I have more field presence more often. I have a card that I can put on the field without feeling guilty, and this card allows me to just take the damage and then get a card to be able to tribute off with this. And it's just nice because you activate this, get this, flip up for this, and then tribute for this, and you'll always have a card to tribute. And that was pretty much the only changes we made there. Sorry about the sound spike that we had in the middle. It was my computer's having some mental issues. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck. Tell me what you want to see next week. I'll just keep posting more videos. Thanks for watching. Yeah.